let's talk about the one thing that truly transforms sales results. And you know what? It's not about having bigger targets or even better products. It's all about the hidden driver of performance, our daily habits. Let's get right into it.
You know the feeling, right? You spend weeks crafting this perfect strategy in the office. Everything makes perfect sense on paper. But then, the moment your sales team is out in the real world, making split-second decisions, poof, that beautiful plan just seems to go right out the window. So, what's going on here? Why does this keep happening?
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the real driver of sales. Then we'll dive into breaking the habit loop. After that, we'll talk about redesigning the entire sales routine, how to lead that transformation, and finally, the big one, the 60-day payoff. Okay, first up, let's get to the heart of the problem, that massive gap between the brilliant strategy we cook up and the actual actions that happen out there in the field. I mean, in theory, we all get this, right? We know that just having product knowledge isn't going to cut it. Real lasting success comes from what our people actually do day in and day out. It's their behaviors, their habits. That's what moves the needle. But here's the thing. Here's the reality check. The minute our teams are under pressure out in the market, their brains just default to whatever's easy and comfortable. They go back to their old habits, visiting the clients they like, selling the products they know, and that brand new strategy, it just gets left in the dust. So if we actually want to fix this, we have to go deeper. We have to understand the powerful, invisible force that's dictating like 90% of our daily actions. And that's the habit loop. Think of it like this. Your team is always operating in one of two modes. Over on the left, you've got comfort selling. This is just pure autopilot. It's avoiding that tough conversation about an overdue payment or just repeating the easiest tasks over and over. But on the right, you've got growth selling. This is deliberate. This is intentional. It's tackling those high-priority accounts, it's focusing on selling the whole range, and it's proactively getting those collections. Our whole job is to shift the team from the left side to the right. Now, this is a huge insight into a classic management mistake. We think, hey, let's just set a higher target. That'll get them going. But here's what actually happens. Higher targets just create more pressure, and when people are under pressure, they don't rise to the occasion. They fall back on their strongest, most ingrained habits, which are usually the inefficient ones. So the big takeaway here is this. You can't just change the target. You have to redesign the actual daily routine. And that brings us to the solution. We have to stop obsessing over the final result and start obsessing over the process. It's time to redesign the entire sales day from the bottom up, all based on a really simple but incredibly powerful formula. Here it is. Performance equals knowledge times behavioral discipline. And that little multiplication sign, well, that's everything. It means if your team's knowledge is a perfect 10 out of 10, but their behavioral discipline is a 0, guess what their performance is? It's 0. All the knowledge in the world is totally useless without the discipline to apply it consistently. And this should be your new mantra. Seriously, it's not about that one heroic, intense day where everyone goes all out. It's about the small, smart, consistent things they do every single day. That steady grind is way more powerful than a random burst of effort. So, okay, what does this look like in the real world? Well, here's a super simple, powerful way to structure the day. Step 1. The first call of the day is for a key account or a tough recovery call. Get the hardest, most important thing done first. Step 2. The middle of the day is for expansion, for finding new customers. And step 3, use the last call of the day for just building relationships. Simple, right? And here are a few more really practical habits you can start to rewire. Instead of starting the day with that easy, friendly customer, start with a priority target. Instead of just pushing the one product that moves fast, focus on selling the whole range. And this one is huge. Make payment collection the very first topic of conversation before you even think about taking a new order. These are small shifts, but they have a massive impact. Okay, but let's be real. None of this is going to happen on its own. It needs leadership to drive the change. So the question is, how do you, as a leader, measure what really matters and coach your team to build these new habits? Well, the very first step is to completely rethink your dashboard. Most of us are obsessed with what we call lagging indicators. Things like total billing. They tell you what happened in the past. We need to shift our focus to leading indicators. These are the activities that create the future results.
How many new outlets did we add? Is our product mix improving? These are the things you can actually control today. You see, this completely changes your role as a leader. Your job isn't just about chasing a number anymore. It's about coaching the right behaviors. Imagine publicly praising someone just for following the new daily structure, even if they didn't get the sale. Imagine being out in the field, actively coaching these habits one-on-one. You stop being a manager of results and you become a coach of discipline. It's a game changer. So the big question, how long does all this take? And what's the actual payoff? Well, the great news is we're not talking about a years-long journey. You can see a massive shift happen in a surprisingly short amount of time. All the research on how habits are formed points to a magic number, about 60 days. It takes about 2 months of doing something consistently for that new behavior to become automatic. This is your 60-day transformation window. If you can keep your team disciplined on these new routines for just 2 months, those actions will start to become their new normal, their new default. And really, it all boils down to this simple equation. When the habits change, the performance improves. It's that direct. It's not some kind of magic, it's pure cause and effect. You're no longer fighting against human nature, you're finally working with it. Look, if you only take one single thing away from all of this, please let it be this. You don't need some huge disruptive overhaul to get results. What you need are small, consistent, daily disciplines. That is where big, sustainable growth comes from. So I'll just leave you with this one question, for you and for your team. After everything we've talked about, what's the one small, specific habit that you're going to change tomorrow to start building that new momentum?